Brian Dutcher. They were going on the road, 2 games. They were playing at Colorado State, at UNLV. Much different scenario this week. They play at home last night against Wyoming. They will follow that up with a game against Nevada coming up this Saturday. The Aztecs right now are 19-7 overall. They are 7-5 in Mountain West Conference play. They win 79-51 last night. Now to the Western Exterminator hotline we go. He is the associate head coach and the head coach in waiting of your San Diego State Aztecs. He is Brian Dutcher. Coach, good to talk to you.
Good to be back with you, Darren.
I know last week we had some fun with this. Yeah, we asked about taking a split on the road. I mean, what can you say? Yeah, you'll
now I'll take it.
Yeah.
I was hoping we could win 2 last week, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, I know what you were saying at the time. It's just that kind of season. You really see teams in college basketball, not just in the Mountain West Conference, but you really do. You think about wins like what we saw last night, and I know you guys were coaching, but Indiana beat Michigan State at Michigan State last night. It really is, given the way that the season's gone in the sport, it really is so eye-opening when a team goes and performs like that, not in their home gym, but on the road.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you just look at Maryland as an example. They beat Duke at home and played magnificent, and then they go to Boston College last night. It seems like they gave it all away by losing to Boston College. It's tough on everybody on the road, and it's definitely tough in the Mountain West on the road.
Well, sometimes since I'm out here, I'll stick with a little bit of a baseball theme. Pitchers, when they have great nights, they always tell you, hey, I was warming up in the bullpen, and I just felt it. I knew I was going to have a good night. When you have the kind of performance like you have last night, where your team shoots an incredible 68%, you score 79, you hold them to 51, and there were times in that game where it didn't look like they were going to get to 40. Is there any way to predict that? Is there any way to know that that's coming?
You always hope it is. I think our kids were focused. They warmed up really hard. They were in tune with the game, and you're hoping they go out and perform like that. And the amazing thing is we did that without our 2 starting guards scoring a point from the field. So you just never know what it's going to bring game to game. All we can hope for is that our kids are going to come out, play their absolute hardest on the floor, and that good things will happen because of that.
I mean, no matter how you want to slice this up, 37-13, 68% is mentioned, 32-13 on the rebounds there. You mentioned your guards. I mean, there's just – I just wonder, how do you explain that? How do you explain a night from the field where a team shoots 68%?
Well, if we could get all the teams like Wyoming to cooperate and have their best player hurt, that wouldn't hurt our chances. When we played him in Laramie, Leonard Washington, who obviously for Wyoming missed the game with a sprained ankle, was such a difference maker around the basket, blocking shots, taking charges. And when they lost that, you could see right away early in the game we were able to get to the rim and not meet the resistance we did in Laramie. And that's not to say that we wouldn't have won the game. It definitely would have probably been a lot more difficult, but our team played well. We were focused. And it didn't hurt that they had their best shot blocker out of the game.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher, associate head coach, San Diego State. San Diego State wins last night against Wyoming at home. Coach, from the time the season started to where we are now, where would you say is the biggest area of improvement that we've seen from your team?
I think we're sharing the ball better and better every game. There's more trust amongst the teammates that if they move it, they'll get it back. And I think defensively, we've been solid all year. Our defense has kept us in games when we haven't shot well. And when we're shooting well and we guard like we do, we have a great chance to win. But I think the way the team moves the ball, Jamal moves it freely, Chase moves it freely, and these are guys that score a lot of points for us. But yet they're not afraid to make that extra pass to try to get a better look for us. And I think we've continued to improve in that aspect of the game.
Is there one area of your team that you would still like to see get better between now and the time conference play starts or the time postseason play starts?
I think rebounding, offensively especially. I'd like to see Deshaun and Skylar Spencer maybe get a few more putbacks. So if we do hit an off shooting night, we're able to maybe corral 1 or 2 of them and put it in. I think J.J. O'Brien's done a great job on the offensive glass for us, and he's by far our best. And then maybe get Jamal to run in and get a tip back or 2 like he has in the past for us to try to maybe, if we do miss a few shots, get a few of them more back in than we have.
Speaking of the conference tournament, it was announced last week, since the last time we spoke, that Vegas is going to host this thing for another couple of years. How do you, as somebody who's the associate head coach and the future head coach at San Diego State, feel about this tournament remaining on the home court for UNLV?
I mean, I think it's great it's in the city of Vegas. You know, I wish it was maybe played like the Pac-12 at MGM Grand, somewhere like that. To play it on their home court, I think, is definitely an advantage for them. I mean, they're one loss at home this year, and they've struggled on the road a little bit, and yet you give them the home court advantage in the conference tournament. I think it's tough on the other teams. But, we've had more success in there than anybody. So we're not going to sit and complain about it at great length. We're going to go in there, and if we meet them on their home floor, we're going to try to knock them off.
We had Frieder on, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and Frieder said, he knew that the MGM was interested in the Mountain West Conference Tournament. How does this happen? Do the different teams, do the different athletic directors vote for this, or is this just come down from the commissioner's office here that it's going to be played at the Thomas and Mack?
Darren, I'm not real sure how it comes down. I don't think the head coaches were involved to a level where they would have probably liked to have been. But I think at the upper levels of the conference, they decided it was the best thing to keep it in Vegas as far as fan interest and getting people to come and bodies and seats. But, I was hoping maybe the head coaches in the conference would be a little bit more involved to voice their opinions as to what they thought was best for men's basketball. Now, whether that happened at an AD level, I'm not aware of.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher at San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. Coach, what do you know about your team? As you and I sit here and talk, you have 4 regular season games to go. This is the time of year where people start doing all the math. People start making all the projections. Bracketology becomes very important for a lot of people. As it relates specifically to the postseason, do you feel good about where San Diego State is? Do you still think there's more left for you guys to do to improve the resume? Do you not feel good about your standing? And how would you describe where you are with your program and the NCAA tournament?
If you're a numbers guy, our RPI and our Ken Palm ratings and things like that are higher than they were a year ago. And in that regard, we feel good about it. From a coaching standpoint, you never feel great until it's over and you see your name on the screen on Sunday. So our intentions right now are to continue to play hard, win basketball games, and then go to the Mountain West Tournament and leave any doubt that we should be there by winning the conference tournament.
And I would think that that probably is still fresh in your guys' memory. That's exactly what happened to you a couple seasons ago. You played for a conference. You played in the conference championship game, and you still got left out. I would imagine that those wounds are probably not 100% healed.
No. We had a real good team that year, and with Lorenzo Wade and Richie Williams and that group, and it hurt not getting in. So, as coaches, you always are concerned to have you done enough. I think we played a competitive schedule. We've won big games. We've won important games. We've got no bad losses, which they look at as far as people that you say, how could they lose that game on the road or at home? We've got no bad losses. And I think if we continue to play well at home and maybe try to steal one more on the road, we'll be in solid shape.
You guys are 7-5 right now. New Mexico is up top at 9-2. You're going to travel to the pit next week. First, you got Nevada coming up this week. Is there still hope that somehow, some way, something kooky could happen here and you guys could win outright the regular season title?
We always hope for that. I mean, I think it's a little bit more challenging in the fact that Colorado State and New Mexico both only have 2 losses. Mm-hmm. So the fact that 2 of them would have to fall flat is a little bit riskier for us to hope. But last year, I think we were 2 games behind with 4 to go and ended up getting a piece of the conference championship. So it's never over till it's over, but chasing 2 teams with 2 losses makes it obviously a lot more difficult.
Well, Coach, good win last night. It was good to see you guys get back in the win column. Thank you very much for your time, and we will chat with you next week.
Thanks, Darren. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Brian Dutcher, Associate Head Coach in waiting at San Diego State.